Hey everybody, it's Darren from the Infamy Fantasy Esports team. We host fantasy esports contests at our website, infamy.gg. So if you haven't already, head on over there, check it out, enter our tournament. Our current tournament available for sign up is the FNCS Finals, which entry deadline is March 12th, and the tournament will be concluded on March 15th. With that being said, I would like to thank everybody who entered our last tournament, the FNCS Semis, and would like to welcome everyone watching to the second episode of our recap series. In our recap series, we're going to be talking about last week's fantasy tournament winners, who the top trios are per region, my predictions for our next fantasy tournament, and this week's hot fantasy deals. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Coming in at third place on our own Infamy leaderboard is Shadow. Shadow is a new user to me. I haven't really seen him place in the top five or top three. So, with congrats to you, Shadow. And Shadow put up a huge 101 points, which usually, if you're familiar with Infamy, our scores don't go to the triple digits. Usually, they're in the double digits. So, last week was insane with three people putting up triple digit scores. Shout out to you, Shadow, and we hope to see you in future tournaments. Second place, this person is taking Infamy by storm. A few of you will know him from his accolades. He placed first two times in a row, back to back, weeks one and two, came in second place last week, and second place again this week. This user is Toadwings. Toadwings seems to have a grasp of fantasy Fortnite, and it shows. He hasn't done anything less than third place in his 4 weeks of playing. So congrats to you, Toadwings, and we hope to see you in future tournaments as well and continue placing and doing well. But all glory goes to our first place winner, which is a longtime Infamy user, Clay. Shout out to you, Clay. Clay has been with us since the beginning. I remember in our original platform, Clay was one of the first people to sign up. I hopped in a Discord call with him, talked to him. It's good to see him win a tournament. But with moving on from Clay as a person, let's talk about Clay's team. Clay's team put up 145 Infamy score, and this team was stacked. I don't know if anyone saw my video last week. I suggested every single player on this team. This team consisted of Jock, Agers, Acorn, and Slacks. Jock, Acorn, and Slacks. I said last week, and I'll say it again this week. Three huge NA East players. This week they won three out of their six matches in the semis, which is absolutely insane. A 50% win rate, each putting up 40 Infamy score for Clay, and then also Agers, who I said last week was a discount player. He's very cheap, and he performs. Why not have him on your team to round it out? Which it looks like Clay did. I'd like to. I'm not going to take all the credit with my recap video, but I'd like to take a little bit, Clay, regardless if you watched it or not. But I called this team last week, so shout out to you, Clay, and congrats on your first place win. But since we're talking about trios and NA East, I'm going to continue talking about Jock, Acorns, and Slacks. Like I said, these players are all absolutely massive fraggers. They know how to win games. They clearly know what they're doing. Week two, they had, I believe it was 9 wins in their 36 games, and then this week they had 3 wins in their 6 games. They know how to win games. They know what they need to be doing. I don't know if it's scrims or what, but these guys are a force to be reckoned with, and I'm willing to go as far to say that I can see this trio winning the FNCS Grand Finals for the NA East region. As for other regions like EU and NAOS, for EU, I said it last week also, Mr. Savage, iDrop, and Tayson. Mr. Savage has been around in the competitive scene as long as I can remember. I'd like to say since the beginning. But people sleep on him and think because he plays on different teams and he's not as flashy or popular. I won't say popular because everyone knows who Mr. Savage is. Whatever the reason is, a lot of people sleep on Mr. Savage, but the kid performs. He put up his team placed first in their heat last week when teams like Mongrel and Mitro didn't even qualify. I believe Benji came in fourth with his team. another good EU player, but Mr. Savage just knows what he needs to do to win and applies it. They call this man Mr. 200 IQ, and it shows. He's very smart and calculated in his team planning and his strategies going into these tournaments, and always keeps his head on his shoulders and doesn't let the pressure get to him. Clearly, because he just always places. Moving on to a less desired region, not less desired, but less talked about region, NA West. I know last week I said I thought that 40R Storm, Macon, and Reet were the NA West team to keep an eye out for, but I'm not so sure because again, I know last FNCS, Arkham, Epic Whale, and Rex came in first for NA West, and Reet came in second. This semis again, Arkham came in second and Reet came in third. It just seems like Reet is just a little bit behind them. I don't know what it is. If it's, I don't think it's teamwork. I just think they're veterans and they know what they're doing. Reet is fairly new to the competitive scene, not new to the competitive scene, but placing as well. Epic Whale has been around since the World Cup finals, and so has Arkham, and he's placed consistently since then. So I think he just has that experience over Reet. I'd love to see Reet, 40R Storm, and Macon win the NA West FNCS. See some new names out there outside of the three that usually are there. But I don't know. I think they're always there for a reason, and they know what they're doing, and it's going to be hard for these three kings to be dethroned. But we'll see. With that being said, on to some fantasy deals for this week. So who do I think is a steal? And a couple of these players are the same from last week, but we have one new player added who I think is a game changer for a lot of people and might change the way you think about how to pick your fantasy team. So let's start with the basics. Dukes and TRNL threats. Last week they were worth 7,500 after their performance in semis with Chap. I believe they placed fourth or fifth overall in their heat. They're up to 8,500. These guys are both huge fraggers, but the key with them isn't their fragging ability, it's their consistency. They play with Chap, who is a IGL and a very strategic player. I would even liken him to that of Zayt, FaZe Bizzle, even Mr. Savage when it comes to IGLing and just knowing how to lead a team. Chap knows how to get these guys consistently to top 10, top 5 situations, and those are placement points. Placement points shouldn't be slept on. That's how you win tournaments. So these guys, not only will they get you kills, but they will also almost guarantee you serious placement points. I can see Chap and Dukes and Threats also placing in the top 5 on the NA East region. This team shouldn't be slept on. But moving on from them, I mentioned this player. He's a part of Mr. Savage's team. We just added him to the Infamy roster. iDrop. iDrop is currently worth 5,800. And if you get iDrop on your team, you got to think about it as a way to get a discount in Mr. Savage, because the way trios work in the Infamy platform is regardless of who the player is, everyone gets the same stats. So if Mr. Savage drops a 20 bomb, iDrop drops a 20 bomb. So iDrop is a pretty much discount Mr. Savage for 5,800. Just something to think about if people haven't really thought about the team making process. If you're really serious about winning, these little things will put you ahead of the competition. But yeah, that's my analysis for this week. Will I will love to see some of my thoughts be proved wrong, especially after last week. But I don't know, these guys, NA East, Jock, Acorns, and Slacks, tough to beat. EU, Mr. Savage, Tayson, and iDrop. I the intelligence on this team, they always know what to do, and they're just you can't outsmart them. And then the kings of NA West, Epic Whale, Arkham, and Rex, just a force to be reckoned with. Haven't they're the immovable object of NA West. I'd love to see someone move them, but it looks like everyone just always comes up short. But we'll see in this grand finals. I'd like to thank everybody who entered our last tournament, the FNCS semis. Everyone should enter our FNCS finals tournament. Again, the entry deadline is March 12th. The tournament concludes on March 15th. Hopefully, see you all there. Thank you to everyone who supports us and is on our platform. And feel free to let us know in the comment section. Give us a like and let us know who your team is. Who you think is going to perform well? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Why you pick certain players? Or if you have any questions about fantasy esports as a whole, we currently offer fantasy Fortnite and fantasy Apex tournaments, but we have more games planned to come soon. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.